people ask me, I get this question quite a bit. Christy, you're a very busy person. Why are you doing all this? Why are you taking up this cause? Why are you so passionate about it? And, how have you decided to make this a priority for you and for what you're doing? And, I initially started this journey a few years back based largely on a powerful personal experience. And in my experience going to dispensaries, looking at inventory, getting my own education, I felt like there was a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of stereotypes. And I really felt that it was important to disseminate accurate information. And I'm constantly learning, right? So I'm not I'm not a medical professional. I'm abreast on a lot of the research. I try to keep myself informed as possible, but I'm always learning and I'm changing my point of view and I'm coming around. And it's been such a powerful personal journey for me that's really what started me down this path. What's kept me on this path are community stories. It's experiences that I've had talking to individuals about low dosing cannabis for a variety of reasons, and having them come back to me and tell me their stories. So I'd like to share a few of the stories that people have shared with me in the context of low dosing. So the first story is a gentleman, was a coworker of mine, and I have been starting to talk to people. If you watch this segment around some of the social stigma, that I've experienced my own journey kind of coming out about my own cannabis use. So I was just kind of shooting the, with my colleague at work, and he shared a very personal 35-year-old professional male who felt like he was really relying on alcohol too much. He had, not an alcoholic, but, definitely having a beer after work every night, at least, a beer after work every night, sometimes more than one beer, reaching a certain level of intoxication, kind of falling asleep, having really bad sleep, and just generally feeling really hungover the next day, right? Again, not really at the level of what you might consider alcoholism, but certainly, maybe pattern behavior that just wasn't healthy for him. And I said, let me tell you about low dosing cannabis, and what that means, less than 5 milligrams of THC. Let me tell you about a product I really like. Again, you guys have heard me talk about this. It's a Petromint product that's 2.5 milligrams of THC. I said, let me just try it. See what you think. Next time, you busy at work and you want to take a mint, see what you think about that, right? And see what you think about that experience. And I know, you're probably going to continue to, alcohol is a very social thing in our culture. It's not necessarily a full-blown replacement of alcohol, but why don't you just try to substitute it and see what you think? And so I never know if people are going to do these things. I get on my little soapbox, I do my cannabis spiel, and time marches on. So about 6 months later, I ran into this gentleman, and it was really profound effect. Significant reduction in alcohol consumption. Could not believe that this, little 2.5 milligram oral consumption of cannabis was so powerful. He had reported it took the edge off. It produced a great level of sleep. He was able to kind of feel relaxed after work. As a byproduct, he shaved off some weight. Again, you don't normally hear men talking about this type of issue. So for me, it was very powerful. Did he stop drinking entirely? No, of course not. Again, as I mentioned, sort of alcohol in our society, there's a lot of, social aspects of alcohol drinking too, rather than just the effects. But this person was definitely on board with low dosing cannabis, and what made me really happy is that he was starting to share the story with other people, and also telling them, hey, if you have any questions, go ask Christy, because we know a lot of words people in common. So that was very rewarding. Another story that I wanted to share was, this happens a lot, where people in my network will know that I'm, familiar with this topic. They don't necessarily have any kind of issue that they necessarily want to use cannabis for. They don't have a medical condition, or they're not using, looking to use it recreationally. But potentially they have a parent who is struggling with some type of issue. And so I have two stories on that front. Again, these are just friends and associates of mine who knew that this was something that I had familiarity with. So the first story is of a mother of my friend. They're both mothers of my friends. One, severe back pain, severe. Whole regimen of opioids and other medications. She had a prescription for sleeping pills. I mean, it was a real hodgepodge there in terms of her medication regimen. And my friend calls me one Saturday and she's like, Christy, like, it's a 911. My mom is delirious. I think these medications are, interacting with each other. We're not really sure what's going on. She's talking about how now she doesn't have a will to live, and I don't think that she would ever commit suicide or do anything that drastic, but she's out of sorts. Can I come to your house right now? Do you have anything that, we can give her? And fortunately, I live in a state where it's acceptable to give someone a cannabis product. So in this particular instance, I happen to have a capsule. Again, if you've seen the methods of administration segment of this series, there's different types of ways to consume cannabis. So this was, again, a capsule. It was 5 milligrams of THC. I gave her 2 capsules, and I said, explain the method of administration. So start your mom just with 1, and if she feels like she needs something more significant, she can take the second one. And they called me the following day, and it was just revolutionary. Again, this isn't a situation where this woman stopped using her prescription medication. So she ended up subsequently having back surgery. She still has back issues. But for any of you who have been sleep deprived or been in so much pain that you literally cannot function, just simply getting a good night's sleep can really turn your spirits around. And that was the story here. And this is someone who would not willingly ever have walked into a dispensary on their own, held a lot of misconceptions about people using cannabis. This person is a lawyer in the state of California, so definitely concerned about the legality of using cannabis. And had such a positive experience. A couple weeks later, went to go get her medical card. This is before recreational use was approved in California. Went to go get her medical card so that she could secure her own cannabis to help with her sleeping. So that, again, really, really powerful story. The other story, again, of a parent who had a positive effect of using cannabis in low doses. This was a person who has severe arthritis. And the arthritis is really destabilizing in the person's neck. And a 75-year-old woman, and it's so disruptive that it was disrupting her sleep. And she was starting to use sleeping pills and really not liking the side effects of the sleeping pills, feeling really groggy the next day, just out of sorts, and still not feeling very rested. So through a series of interactions with her son, we, talked about it, and I said, this is a person living in Washington. I said, have her go to her dispensary, find a product that has less than 5 milligrams of THC. I recommend, product starting out that would have 2.5 milligrams of THC. See how she feels and what she thinks. And again, this is an elderly woman who is taking prescription medication for sleep, again, just to have a restful night's sleep based on her negative experience that she was having with arthritis. She, again, based on her son's recommendation, just of knowing me, she decided she'd take it, she'll just try it once, right? What does she have to lose? And again, it's just been such a powerful, positive experience. This is a woman who no longer takes sleeping pills. She's not taking cannabis in low doses daily, so that's not her regimen. Basically, whenever she has a flare-up in her neck, and she kind of knows now because she's been to the rodeo, right? So she's having a flare-up. She knows it's going to be a night where typically if she did not take anything, she would have an awful night's sleep. She takes a small dose, 2.5 milligrams of THC, edible form of administration, oral form of administration, and has a great night's sleep and no sense of grogginess or anything the next day. And it can, of course, when you're administering something while you're sleeping, even if you were slightly concerned about the side effect profile, it's it's all kind of going down when you're sleeping. So you're not really going to, even if there was a chance that you might experience some intoxicating benefit, in this particular example, it's just going to help you stay asleep longer and more solidly. So those are just a few of the community stories that I've experienced and what really keeps me motivated to continue on this work as a cannabis educator and continuing to expose myself to the research and really try to ensure that people's experience with cannabis is positive and that it's a way to really get the benefits of cannabis in low doses without the side effects that people may experience in high doses.